Jai Gurudev, everybody, welcome back. So, I will just go directly because we had some technical problem. So, we go directly to the question now.
Jai Gurudev Guruji, sometimes you tell us directly what to do. For example, to write a book or move from one country to another. Unfortunately, sometimes we don't do these things right away, but years later instead. In this delay needed for the person to prepare for the change, is this delay needed for the person to prepare for the change, or is it a lack of trust in you? Is the outcome the same as if it would have been done right away?
Actually, you see, look, when you go to the master and ask for a question, firstly you have to be able to listen and take what the master is telling you. And really be ready for that, to hear what you don't want to hear. Because you see, very often people in the mind, they have already a certain answer. And when they go to the master, they said, okay, Guruji, I want to have this project and I want to do this and that, And of course, they want to hear what they have in their mind. And if the master says what they want to hear, then it will be perfect, and then they will listen because it is what they want to hear. But if the master says opposite to what they want to hear, and of course the view from the master point of view and from their point of view is two different angle itself, So where one is standing, one will view a certain reality to things, So that's why when somebody go and ask something to the master, of course, from the standpoint of the Guru, the Guru will tell to do certain things. That doesn't mean that the person will take it and act upon that straight away. It can mean that after some years that will happen. But always the word of the master will happen. Whether it is in this life or not, what the master have said, that will be. It is not, of course, everybody is free to do whatever they want, because I have seen that so many times. People come and ask, and of course in their mind they are full of their own doubt, they are full with their own story which they have cooked into their brain, and they expect that the master is also doing the same thing into the mind of the master. The Guru's mind is the same, and of course they come with their expectation, so they are not ready to listen. So that's why, you see, very often, today itself I was talking about that to somebody, very often it's of no use really telling the person directly something. That's why it's better to tell somebody indirectly. Whether they understand it or they don't understand it, it's up to them finally. Because you see, when one is come full already, they will not listen. They just pretend to listen and pretend to say, yes, I'm respecting you, or want your advice upon that. But in reality, they will just do whatever they want. That's why very often when people come, of course I give the blessing for whatever their life must be. But they forget often why they are on the spiritual path. They forget often why they have chosen a path to follow. So then, of course, the normality of things catch up, and then they go back to their petty self again. So whose fault will it be? And of course, afterwards you can say, yes, it's the fault of the Guru, because my life have not been like what it must. I was imagining my great spiritual life to be. So it is. Have you really followed what the master said? No, you have not followed. Because when the master was telling you to live a certain kind of life, but you choose to live a different kind of life, because of your attachment to this world, Like in the Bhagavad, Canto 11, Chapter 7, verse 52, where it is said that the mind of those which is deluded, they create affection, they create attachment to people and things. For that, for sure, they will suffer great loss. Maybe they don't see it right straight away, but later on they will. Just like the foolish pigeon who doom itself, So like that, you will see the world itself is like that, when they go on spirituality, it's like a show-off, because they have an agenda when they enter the spiritual path. They go to fish, they go to try to get something, because also some people go to follow the Guru because it is a trend, You see that very often in the, high society milieu, You see it's a trend to follow spiritual path because it's trendy, For them it's just a thing that they do. They don't have great respect for that path. They don't have great respect to the Guru. They don't want to do anything like that because it's just like a normality for them. It is a thing that I take it from there and I put it there. There in that verse of Bhagavad itself, you see, Bhagavan said that one should not develop deep affection and attachment to this material reality itself, because that material reality is finite. It will not give great joy to somebody. So in that verse, it takes a meaning of a bird, the pigeon, a foolish pigeon, who doom itself, because the story goes like this: that there was a pigeon who adventured into the world outside, and thinking it will have a great, wonderful life in itself. When it caught into Maya itself, then he got married and have children, and one day the parent went out flying, and then a hunter came and took the child, and the mother seeing that, the mother rushed quickly to save the child, and again the child was taken away. The mother also was killed. So seeing that, the male pigeon, crying, so pitiful, said, "Oh, you all went to heaven, leaving me here alone." Such is that kind of attachment that create into the world. When one get attached to Maya itself, then one can't really listen to what the Guru have advised. Then one be fooled by their own mindset itself. And that, like I said to you earlier, I have seen so many people like that, And I'm asking myself, are they really happy in the life that they have taken? Oh, I don't think they are really happy. Some you see, they walk like dogs behind their partner, because they renounce their world. They become like dogs behind the partner, listening to everything what the partner do. In case they don't listen, this is how much love you will see, will have. First you have this great thing of, "Oh, I love you, I love you, I love you." Just say one time no to that person. Just contradict one time your partner or your beloved, whatever. You will see where that love goes, directly out of the window. And that is what is the foolishness of people. When they have something into their mind, they are so attached to it, that they don't want to hear anything else. They will go to Guru, they will go to saints, they will go to sadhus, just for them to hear what they have into their mind is right. That's why they can't really, listen. So even if the saints have said something to them, they view it only in a limited view, because their view is only to the wall. When there is a wall in front of them, they can't see what is behind there. Whereas the saint have a different view of things. They view further than this wall. So you're looking at only 5 of your step. The saint look at further 15 years what will be, and guide you according to that. But are you ready to listen to that? No, you are not ready, because the excitement of now, it is the most important for you. What will be later on, you don't view. How miserable you will become afterwards. Are you ready to hear that? No, you are not ready to hear that. So due to you not being ready, of course, the saints most of the time just tell you things indirectly, or will just agree to what you have to do, because you see, afterwards, even if it's that, you will have to go through certain things that will make you understand life by itself. So you will learn by your own mistake, or you will grow about it. The Darshan page just open. So you see, this is how it is. Very often, you give advice to the people, but the people are not ready to listen. And this I have seen, like I said, many, many times, and I will see many times also. So.
Guruji, you always say, be yourself. Yet, we still have to follow rules and regulations that might go against our nature. For example, if I want to hug the deities, or even you, I can't, because it is not allowed.
Yeah. That's just important not to do it.
Then it seems we go back to behaving like others want us to behave.
Yeah, well, look, one thing is that there are certain rules that you have to follow, and you can't go and hug the deity. Who are you to hug the deity? You can hug your deity at home. Don't go and hug the deity in the temple. That is a certain rules, but you have to respect that. It is also the theme of respecting. And for me, like you were saying, hugging somebody, I feel to hug somebody, I will hug the person. But if I don't feel like that, I don't like anybody to come and just hug me like that. I'm sure anybody is like this. Just imagine you're going on the road and somebody just come and jump on you and hug you. We don't even know that person. Would you be happy about it? No, you would not be happy. So the same thing. It's not that I don't know you. I know you, but I'm not a huggy person. So if you want to hug, you can. There's other people who like hugging, so you can go and hug them. This is you can hug your people which is dear to you, and hug the trees or whatever, And once I was walking, down to the ashram. One Mataji was hugging the tree. And then I was wondering, why are they hugging trees? Well, for some people, they miss affection probably, and they think that they get affection from the trees. So they go and hug the trees. It's fine. So you can go and hug the tree, or the stone, or whatever.
So the question was, what is the proper way of understanding your instruction to be yourself?
Be yourself. When I'm talking about the self, I'm talking about the Atma itself. Firstly, this is who you are truly. Now, so it is not this physical body. So let's say, for example, being yourself doesn't mean that you become crazy and dance around, even if you have this impulsion to do so. Let me remove all my clothes and jump naked outside. Because there's people who have this kind of impulsion, especially in the spiritual field, you have all kind of people, So sometimes you have to be reasonable. And that's why there is rules some places, Otherwise you will just do all your foolishness and express. Otherwise it will put you in a mental hospital. And, there is people who have come here very often, who act insane completely, and we have to call the ambulance to take them away. So you see, by being yourself, that means to your respectful self, which means your Atma itself. So Atma wants to express itself in a different way. So Atma doesn't act in an insanity way of the outside. Of course, if a soul has a blessed one who have excelled the duality of life itself, of course they can because they are not attached to either good or bad. For them, good and bad is equal. But for us, people who act very, how to say, erratically like that, and say, okay, yeah, I want to hug. They say, no, I want to hug Guruji, and of course, this is not. It's not okay. Yes, you give one hug. Then what? There's 100 people sitting there. They all see, oh yeah, you have hugged this one. This one have come. Then they all inspired by this craziness, and they all also run. Can I hug you? And then you have to see their face. Get scared sometimes. You have to pity me also on that. Because I have had so many, occasion like that. And of course that is not, very inspiring. It's scary actually. And that's why there are certain rules. So if, like I said, if I feel like hugging, then I will hug somebody. But if I don't feel like hugging somebody, why should I? So that's why. Otherwise we will have everybody queuing to hug me. And like I said, I'm not a hugging person, so I hug you inside of your heart. I hug you with my love. And I hug you to elevate you, not to make you, bring you down completely. That we have to understand. You see, from a lower point perspective, you have to grow. But from the higher can't fall down to the lowest. So you understand this concept, But when somebody, only when one is lower, associating to the higher, then that lower aspect can grow. So like that, you see, there is a certain rules. That's why the Guru come into the world of the people to uplift them. And then when I said to be yourself, to accept, deep inside of you, your spiritual path, to accept how you are inside of you. So that doesn't mean that you have to act upon how you feel inside. So, like I said, inside of your heart, you can hug me as much as you want. It's fine. But outside, there is a certain rules that one have to follow. Yeah.
Jai Gurudev, there are so many recommendations and rules online about japa malas. Not showing it to people, not mixing mantras on the same mala, not wearing our japa mala around the neck or in the bathroom, not letting it touch the ground, etc. What are your instructions?
Look, the japa mala is very sacred. You are chanting the divine name with it. And you can take one mala. If you're chanting, let's say for example, you have seen, I'm chanting Vitthala's name and Om Namo Narayanaya only with one mala itself. As long as I'm in the same frequency, like the same name of the Lord Himself, now I will use only one mala. So I'm not changing mantras like, changing clothes. Like some people like to chant one mantra in the morning, one mantra in the evening, another mantra. So no. So if I have clear understanding that I'm chanting the Lord's name, it's like Om Namo Narayanaya, Shri Vitthal Giridhara Brahmane Namaha, Vithala, Vithala, Vithala. It's the same Supreme Lord Himself. So why should I change the mala for it? I can change the name of God with one mala itself. So, but let's say if I'm using Tulsi mala, I will not chant the name of Shiva with a Tulsi mala. The same thing, I will not take a Rudraksh mala and chant the name of Sriman Narayana on that mala, because they are not connected. It's not that you can't do it, you can do it, but it is, the vibration of it is not meant for this. So like that, each when you are chanting, for example, you should know very well, when you have a mantra, you have only one mantra, you chant your mantra. Either you have your Guru mantra or you chant your Mula mantra which have been given to you, like the Om Namo Narayana Shavita Giridhari Prabhamane Namaha. So this mantra you can chant, you don't need to change your mala every time you change these mantras. And of course the mala should not be put down. And what was that?
The bathroom.
You should not take your mala into the bathroom, and you should not wear the japa mala. You wear mala as kanti mala. We call it kanti mala, the one you wear on your neck. This, of course, wherever you go, you can take it with you. But the mala that you're chanting, you should not take it into the bathroom. And
showing it to others.
You can show your mala to other people, and it's not a problem. I don't know. I don't see any. Why would that harm anybody to show your mala to everybody?
Jai Gurudev Guruji, you've probably seen many people making the same mistake over and over again. Do you see patterns in people's paths which make them not succeed? For those who have succeeded, what do they have in common?
Well, you see, what they have in common first is those who have succeeded. Their determination is clear. And for those who have not succeeded, it's that they are not clear in themselves. So they are not, when they go on the spiritual path, they have been taught a certain thing, but in themselves, their mind is not stable. Their mind is a very foolish one, which jump from one thought to the other, or one path to the other, and one things to the other. They can't keep calm. So when one is chanchal, which means always moving, so the agitated mind itself will not have a certain focus. So then their goal itself, what they want to achieve, become unclear. Like very often you see people, they are themselves unclear about their path. And of course, when one is unclear about their path, unclear about what they want to achieve in life, and they adventure into the spiritual field, of course, when you adventure into the spiritual field, everything gets amplified. When you are unclear itself, that unclarity itself also gets amplified. So that's why you see that very often people go into the spiritual world and they back off. But when you are clear, then you have the full strength and power behind you, pushing you, and that positiveness that you hold inside of you also will bring you forward. So you see, your mindset, how you view life itself also determine where you stand. So that mindset must be clear. There's this beautiful story in the life of Lord Buddha, actually, where there was one monk. There was this famous prostitute. She was called Amarapali. Amarapali. So she was very beautiful, and in her place there were even king. Many chariot will queue itself, just like a taxi. When you go and try to get a taxi at the airport, they're all queuing to get their passenger. Like that, there will be queues of kings and emperors waiting to see her, to meet her. That's how she was powerful, and she was very beautiful. And of course, she lived in a palace. She had everything, and of course, she was a prostitute. Very high demand prostitute, and of course, you see, the work of a prostitute, she will give her body for the people, and of course the king and everybody will come and use the body as a other thing, like you use things, you use an instrument like that, they will use her body, but in deep inside of her, she was never happy. She was feeling sad and miserable. So one day, some disciple of when Lord Buddha will go around, he will go around with 10,000s of people, And one day there was this monk who went begging around in the city, and that handsome monk, he was very well, nicely built and very handsome, very educated and very elegant. And he also came from a very wealthy family, a royal family, just like Lord Buddha. So he was in the city begging with his begging bowl, and he was passing by, and he saw all this, how say, all this chariot of so many kings and waiting all the time, and he was wondering what it is, what is happening in this palace. So he went and asked for, as he was passing by, he went near the palace, and as he was looking, he saw Amarapali sitting on the window. And Amarapali saw him. The moment Amarapali saw him, inside of her heart, something jumped. That love awake inside of her heart. So when he saw her, of course she was so beautiful, inside of him, he just bowed down to her. And that shocked Amarapali. And Amarapali ran down quickly and bowed down to him. And said, please come to my place. And I said, then he addressed her, said, Mother, how can I? You are living in I am a monk. How can I be into the palace? And said, please, come and have lunch with me. And the monk said, okay, fine, I will come. So the monk went and have lunch with Amarapali. And then, of course, all the other monk was auspicious and shocked and everything else, And then the Amarapali asked him, said, look, I would like to do something for you, but what can I do? In few days' time, there will be the rainy season. I would like that you spend this 4 months of rainy time, Chaturmas, with me. I promise you, I will not disturb you. This is your place, do whatever. I want just to serve you, because it's the first time somebody have given me such respect in my life, which everybody just want to use me, but you have bowed down to me and you have called me mother, and I want to do something for you. And then the monk said, well, I'm a monk, I can't live in a palace. It's true that during these 4 months of rainy season, the monk, the sadhus, they stayed in one place. But for that I will need the permission of my guru. First, he have to give me permission firstly, then I will come. Then but if he refused, I'm sorry for that. I can't do anything because I am his. So he can do whatever he wants with me. So then she bowed down and said, okay, fine, I will respect whatever your master said. So the monk came to Lord Buddha, and of course, meanwhile, all the other monks have come and have already started firing, words and saying how terrible is that monk who have entered the prostitute house and even eat at the prostitute, And of course, then when Lord Buddha when he came to see Lord Buddha, and he said, Master, Amarapali have invited me to stay for the rainy season 4 months at her place. And I have said, if you give me permission, I will. If you not, then I will not. This is I am yours, you do whatever you want with me. So saying, Lord Buddha said, I grant you permission. You can go and stay. And everybody was shocked. So one old man take courage and said, this is auspicious, how can you do that? For sure that will, destroy our, name and so on, So then Lord Buddha looked at it and said, yes, look, he is clear about his way. He could have thrown his begging bowl away and be with that lady, But he didn't. He came and asked permission, firstly. That showed that clarity. Secondly, he didn't address her as a prostitute. He addressed her as Amarapali. He addressed her by her name because he don't judge her, he don't condemn her. If he will judge her and condemn her, he will call her prostitute like you all have done. So like that, he's clear about it. So that's why I gave him the permission to go. Then another monk opposed to that and said, oh, it's very terrible, for sure he will be ruined and finished, Then the Buddha said, okay, we will see after 4 months. So after 4 months, he came back because everybody was expecting that he would not come back. After 4 months, he came back, and behind him, he was still a monk, and behind him, there was this beautiful lady coming, a Marapali. And the monk said, Master, this is your new disciple, and she have taken shelter to your feet. And of course, everybody was shocked to see her transform, and she fall down at the feet of Lord Buddha. And then the Buddha said, but her soul is as pure as his own soul itself. Because during these 4 months, the saint have transformed her completely. That's what her soul was longing for. So, like that, the monk, he was clear about his path. When somebody is clear about his path. So, coming back to the story, so Lord Buddha, then she surrendered all her wealth to Lord Buddha, and that's what they used to spread also the teaching of Lord Buddha everywhere. So, like that, you see, those which is clear, they don't fall down again into the same where they are, So they will keep increasing and growing. But those which is not clear, of course, they will fall back, So that is, you can see in the people itself. It reminds me also of a story of Philip, Saint Philip of Neri, Philip de Neri, who he also, he went, when they first wanted to trap him, they sent him some prostitute to his place, and of course he started talking about God and the love of God and how merciful is God and how God is forgiving, and of course they all became his disciple. The same thing in Shirdi Sai Baba's life, and there were some people who sent some courtesan to Shirdi Sai to seduce Shirdi Sai, and of course, seeing that love of God, of course, that's why I was saying earlier, somebody which dwell into a high state, you see, he will have always mercy on those, he will have all understanding and mercy on those who dwell on the lower state itself, and then they will try to uplift them, to raise them. So that come only when one is clear about one path. When you're clear about your decision to live a certain lifestyle, or to engage yourself into your spiritual path, that clarity must be there. And that if you are clear about your path itself, and you have made your mind, discipline your mind, like Krishna said, and knowing that he is the source of everything, then there is no chance of one going back into that delusional world again. It's not that one will fall down again. No, you will keep rising. But that clarity must be present inside of you when you take the spiritual path. When you engage yourself into that, knowing that wherever you are, whatever is happening into your life is governed by the divine itself. And without that commandment from him, nothing will happen into your life. And he took you and bring you where you have to be, because he have that relationship with you, and he wants you to excel into being who you are, realizing who you are, and finally attain his divine darshan itself, to have his divine grace to be in deep communion with him. Like, don't forget what he said, in chapter chapter 10, verse 39. Yeah, that he is the seed of all, the moving and the unmoving. So nothing exists without him. So if you realize that everything exists in him now, and that it is only him that govern your life. Who are you? Firstly, like, this is the question that we asked. You said I. You sing your own glory of I have this, I have that. This is mine. But who are you? Firstly, who is this I which you always sing the glory of? Get to know that. Are you this body? No, this body will fall down. It will go back into the elements. It will become dust again. Like I said, dust go back to dust. So who are you? Are you all this wealth that you have amassed? No, you are not. These things are just things outside. Just like this body is a thing which is given to you. So like that, you see. Make your determination clear. How long would you live? Sometimes it's so quickly something can happen. Then you miss the opportunity of your life itself. You have great opportunity thinking, yes, I will live hundreds of years. You have great opportunity thinking that, yes, I will have you think that you will live eternally. No, you will leave everything here. You will leave even this body here. So it's not only one thing which is eternal inside of you, it's your Atma. That's why the saints, when they live from the moment itself, they live as if there is no tomorrow. Because you don't know whether tomorrow when you sleep tonight, but tomorrow you will wake up. You can have a heart attack and die overnight. So why waste time in life? Why being foolish and stupid in life? That's also a question I'm asking myself itself. Why people are so dumb sometimes not to realize what life and what God have given them. What opportunity life have given them to advance towards something sublime. But yet, you see, the mind of man is foolish. And the mind of man is they think only on temporary happiness. They think that, yes, if I if I have the things around me and think that I will be happy. Are you really happy? No, you will not be happy. Along the line, in 10 years or 15 years' time, you will not be happy. You will still be the same miserable person you were. This is where depression still is one of the biggest worry of this world. When people are so depressed, they go into this world being depressed because it's lack of confidence in them, and lack of clarity. Because you see, when you are clear, it brings certain confidence inside of you, which will bring you further and further and growing up and up and up. Like you said, people are growing old, but they are not growing up. When you grow old, you should also grow up, rise and be, like I said again, be yourself, So don't be yourself that when I'm walking around, come and jump on me and run and hug me because inside you feel that. So please don't do that. So, take it.